Welcome back to my video tutorial series regarding D3 to D1, following everything through. I'm going to start this session a little bit differently than the rest because I really want to point out something. We did select this team starting in Crum using the seniors and juniors and the class rating and everything that way. And I just want to say, take a peek, number 13. Pretty excited about that. Let's take a quick peek at the top 25 to kind of see. There's only two other teams that are have been sim teams here, so this would have been a sim team otherwise, which is kind of nice that I'm in the top 25, which is kind of nice starting off the bat. If you want to take also another peek, Ben Rudy, if you follow my blog, he was my very first user interview here at Grinnell, which I'm pretty sure he went to the second round last year, and he has been a national champion, the Sweet 16, A+ team. Very, very good here. I think this is one of his longer term teams that he has currently at the D3, because if you look at some of his other teams, he's done pretty well at turning teams around. So if you want to take that look, that is my first user interview, Ben Rudy at Grinnell here in the Crum world. Very, very good coach at the D3 level. But going a little further onto this, so stoked that we're number 13. We're going to keep rocking on with that as well. Notice scouting has started. The database has come up. When we click on scouting here, it says scouting is in progress. Notice I have 2 openings, so we're gonna take a peek at this in a little bit. I'm a little worried here because this is a different numbers than I normally see at the Division 1. I didn't do any D3 recruiting scouting when I was doing the beta. I did all D1, which a lot of this, the recruiting budget and scouting budgets, very, very different. But that aside, let's quickly take a peek at our preseason All-American teams here. Okay, and we're going to take a peek, and it looks like Mark Castilla from our depth chart, number 1 on our depth chart, is first team Division 3 preseason All-American, and then Steve Griffin, our small forward, is our third team on the third team as well, which is pretty big coming out of just for picking up a team, and they're not really, weren't players that I recruited, and so on and so forth. We're looking pretty good, actually. So that's going to be pretty important here. But I want to take another peek before we get into the nitty-gritties of our scouting. We just did the depth chart, but we didn't really look at maybe player roles very much. So if we look, we can do player roles here, and we can create them. I think these might be the ones that I've had from previous schools before, and they're kind of automatically collected here. But if we want to see a player with a specific role, right, we can see what they are. We can see Mark Castilla is a 77.3 from my center role here that I've already selected. My point guard role, it's going to be Troy, power forward, going to be again Castilla. Griffin's actually pretty up there, and then David Meany, shooting guard. But these are ways that you can put in different, like, do you want a speedy athletic guard, or shooting guard, point guard, so on and so forth, small forward, right, with defense on everything that way. If you want to have that in there to kind of determine, hey, who's my better player, who's not, you can do this. WIS already makes some for center and point guard and power forward for you. These little stars indicate that. So if you want to use that for your depth chart, go ahead, by all means. You can edit your own, make your own, change it, so on and so forth. So take a peek at that. Just a neat feature that you're able to use, and if you want to go into it, you can. Again, if you want to take a screenshot of this, you can take mine. Doesn't really matter. To be honest, I haven't used player roles really at all since I started Hoops Dynasty. I did it for a little while, and it just didn't really work out very well for me, but I do know that some people use it, and are very, very successful with this way of doing things a little bit more than I am. But I'll probably change. I might change this. I might work with this while we do this video series at some point in the future. But right now, I'm not too worried about it. Another thing that you can do is you can change player positions before the season starts. So you can look at last season's stats, kind of determine, hey, how did these guys do? What was their field goal percentage? What were their points per game? All the way down through and everything this way, which is kind of, just a neat way to look at things. But we can look at changing positions if we need to. Right now, I'm not too worried about it. I don't need to change positions because the position really doesn't matter in regard. It only matters if you care about their position and where you put them. So that's another way there. And then if you manage your roster here, you can redshirt players here if you need to. I'm not going to worry about it because I don't really care this year with this team. I want the guys that I do have to get some playing time. And without further ado, we're going to take a peek at Hoops 101 really quick, because we did talk about last time with our defenses and offenses and figuring out what kind of who's your defensive menace, who's your offensive player. So we're going to kind of take a peek there. And we know that the team that we have, Nazareth, is a zone team. So we're going to take a peek here. Each responsible regarding a specific zone. Versus space in the defense players, 2-3 zone. There are 2 defenders guarding the perimeter and 3 players guarding inside. So we can change that 2-3 versus 3-2 depending on if a team is playing if we think a team's going to be shooting outside more or not. Zone defense can be effective in taking away penetration, keeping players out of foul trouble, and hiding a bad defender. Remember how I said hiding a player? We can hide them. You don't have to be deep to play a zone. Since players are only working when the ball is in their zone, they don't need stamina. So like you need with a manner press. So we don't have to worry about stamina. It does allow wide open shots and can give up a lot of offensive rebounds. So we really need to focus on, okay, remember my guys can rebound, right? We already know that. We can rebound. And we don't need to have a lot of stamina. So I think we've got that covered. So we're sitting pretty good. And I believe, we're going to double check, I believe we are also a motion team. And I am right, we are a motion team. So let's take a peek at motion. There's no predetermined sequence movement. They kind of moved open areas. Gives a lot of flexibility. They work as a team, often results open shots, layups when the defense gambles, and specifically, more talented players aren't utilized as much as they could be. Does require good ball handlers and passers. I feel like we don't have many ball handlers and passers, unfortunately. So I'm a little worrisome there. Flex, we could probably switch to, but again, we don't have a lot of outside shooting. Triangle, we can't really use a triangle either. It doesn't require athletes, which definitely we need, but we don't have good passing either. So at this point, I think motion is just fine for us. But if we do end up, we might end up switching to a triangle to be a little more successful, or a flex. But I do like the motion offense personally, so we'll just stick with that to kind of add on from our last video. So finally, we're going to get into the nitty gritty of how I scout. Specifically, I'm not going to talk about D1 too much because we're not at D1 yet. I'll talk about that when we get there. So we're going to stick with D3. And the big thing with D3 is that things have changed immensely from HD 2.0 to HD 3.0, which is Hoops Dynasty version 2 versus Hoops Dynasty 3. They have a little more strategy. Does make it a little bit easier in my eyes to do scouting than it used to be. And there's not going to be no right or wrong way to do anything. We're going to kind of take some of the stuff we've talked about and kind of interchange it, which will be helpful for us in the long run. So I would not, as a D3 school, extend past 500 miles. It's just very difficult for you to recruit. One thing, I'm going to bring in Ben Rudy's user interview that I had with him and say that you want to recruit low D1 players that you know you can get, and as well as high D2 players, or some middle ground D2 players, what you want to recruit. Division 2 players that you're recruiting, you can go nationwide if you want for that. But if you're going to go a D1 player, keep them within 500, and if not, if you can, keep them within 300 miles, because otherwise they're just going to be too far away for you to really recruit them. But the nice thing is that distance doesn't really matter too much anymore in Hoops Dynasty 3.0 recruiting, because you can put attention points that are free to put out for every player, which we'll go into in a second, and you can get a player without even actually giving any home visits or anything if you need to. And you can find players, but you want to find guys that have specific preferences towards your team, which we're going to go over the preferences fairly soon on that. So again, this is very important. You do not need to look at a specific position, because players can play in any position. You just want to find guys with certain ratings to fill a need that you have on your team, right? Filling needs is more important than finding, the right positioned player, right? Remember what I said, you can change the player's position at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of this video, so be sure that you know that. So, and also don't worry about overall rating. Find a guy that fits what you need: ball handling, passing, athleticism, speed, defense. I would rather recruit an athletic, speedy defender than a guy that's going to be able to do anything else, because to be honest, if I can stop them from scoring, I'm going to win games. So without further ado, we're going to talk about the options. You got the scouting service, Future Star Scouting. This scouts a lot of players in an area for you, getting them to level 2 very, very easily and cheaply. It is separated into divisions, which is much cheaper than it used to be, so that's a lot nicer. An assistant search can search within a certain range, like a distance, right? We talked about this distance of 500 miles. He can search within that miles. He can find a specific player. He can find anything that way. Hosting your own camp, and to be honest, I always host a camp at Division 1. We're gonna try it at Division 3, but I don't know if it's really gonna be helpful or not. So we're gonna try it this season and see how that goes. And then we got our scouting levels, the basic information. Everybody starts there. I can look at everybody I want and see that, right? As long as I discover them, I get to see that. Level 2 gives preferences. Level 3 gives letter grades with blue colors for very high and high for you, but then number 4 provides exact numbers and then gives you the green potential colors if you have them. Scouting is based on distance. So Division 3, remember, we're at a limited budget. Let's take a peek at what that is. If you didn't see it early on when we looked here, $19,000 just for scouting, and then $3,000 for actual recruiting action. So $19,000 literally is all we have for the scouting portion of this. So we don't want to scout too far. You don't want to scout players past level 2 if you don't have a preference match. You don't want to keep scouting those guys if they are not going to match what your team does, right? It's not going to help you, right? So, with recruiting battles, you don't want to get into one where you have bad match preference. If you have a really good match preference, you might win a battle. So very important there. Preferences are playing time, distance, success, play style, offense, defense, conference strength, coach longevity, and signing preference. Signing preference really doesn't matter. Signing preference only tells you when they're going to sign. Are they going to sign early on, at any time, before the end of the first period, or in the second period? I will tell you that Division 1 and Division 2 players will not sign with a Division 3 school until the second period. All right, till the second period. You can put recruiting actions into them, but they will not sign with your school until you hit that specific time, right? The second session, all right, which is after the season's over. All right, you have to wait all the way till the season's over to see if you're going to get that player. So you got to make sure you're going to get enough, preferences to keep him on your list to be able to get him. So who to scout? There's no important rule. There's no specific player. There's no specific anything to scout. You need to find out what you want for your roles on your team and your team composition. Do you want an elite player? Okay, this is he's going to be great. He's going to do everything you need. He's going to be a best player. Doesn't necessarily mean a point guard, shooting guard. Could be a center. Could be any guy. Could be the best rated guy. Could be a guy that's not even a great rated guy. Because remember, to be honest, on our team here, we're looking at one of my elite players is Charles Humphrey, and he's a freshman, because his speed and athleticism, hands down, and his defense. Another one is Steve Griffin, right? Over 60s in those categories. And to be brutally honest, the other guy is going to be Mark Castilla. except he doesn't have a 60 speed, but he doesn't need a 60 speed because he's got it in athleticism for his Division III there, but he has really, really high defense. So those 3 guys are my elite. I would say I'd put those guys in the stellar 10, 15 or more points per game category. I'm probably going to put a lot of my preferences for player distribution on those guys, which is another topic for another time that relates to depth chart, but we're not going to worry about it right now. You want somebody to score. You need somebody always to score. He's going to be highly athletic. It doesn't have to be speedy unless he's a guard. Okay, big men don't have to have that, but they have to have low post skills with athleticism to be classified as a scorer. Guards need to be good ball handling, because if they don't have good ball handling, they're going to turn the ball over. And then passing skills would be important, just to get the ball to other players that might be open if they're not. So they're going to help them score points. He does not need to be a starter. I've heard of players not being starters and still scoring 15 points a game, being like a backup. Okay, being one of those guys that's not a huge defender and still being able to score points. Rebounder, you need to get rebounds. Rebounds are important. You need a guy that's going to rebound the ball, and if you can get him as a rebounder and a scorer at the same time, great. Doesn't mean you have to, but great. Okay, so let's get into some scouting sorting, right? Which we'll be able to save some players. We're going to do this part as we scout. So bringing this up and over, let's take a peek. We want to do scouting service first. No real reason, I just kind of want to. And if we want to see here, we got Division III, Division II, and Division I specific for scouting this way. So the problem that we have is I don't know how far away, right, is 300 miles outside of Rochester, New York, because Rochester, New York is where we are located, right? Rochester, New York. So we're going to take a quick search. We're going to go just kind of take a quick peek here, kind of see a map and see here how far we can get with 300 miles. So we're in, are we, no. Rochester, let's see. So Rochester is right there on Lake Ontario. So Lake Ontario, meaning we're going to be way up here. So I would say we're going to do New York, Pennsylvania. Let's see, how far is that? Find out. Washington, D.C. to Rochester is 383 miles. So it looks like Pennsylvania. Let's see if Providence. If I would do this right the first time, it'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it? So it looks like Rhode Island is out. Looks like Connecticut maybe. I want to stay within 300 miles if I can, just because it's easier. And so it kind of looks like we're just going to do Vermont, New Hampshire, New York. Let's see how much this is going to cost. Let's see. So Division I, remember, we want Division I players. We want it New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and did I say Connecticut? I think I did. So that's 1155. I'm going to write this down for my own reference so I don't spend my money beforehand, because let's be honest, if you spend your money before you really know, you're going to be in trouble. Okay, a lot of trouble. Be sure that you're not overspending your money too early, because you want to be able to have the kind of cash that you might need to do, everything you need. So let's be honest, we need to do the same thing here as well, these 4. That's only $2,300, and I'm going to include Canada on both of these because we're right on the border of Canada. We could get a guy within 300 miles here up in Canada, so that's not too bad. So I'm going to write all these numbers down here, and we're going to do Canada, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut. 1320. That's only $2,600. That's really not bad. I'm okay with doing that. So we're going to actually go ahead and do this. And I might, let's see how much it costs here. That's 19 for that whole corner with Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. Let's see, because I want to have enough money to do other stuff in a minute. 2775 for Division 1. Let's just do those. That's 4,300. That's 4,335 divided by 289. It's only $15 per recruit. That's actually really, really good, to be honest, especially for Division 1. So let's see what we have there. That's not too bad. 4,335. And let's see here what we can get with our Division 2 with the same amount. Oh, I forgot DC in there, didn't I? That's 3630. That's about $7,000. That's not too bad. Yep, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. We're doing it. Notice when it gets red, right? Red means you've scouted those states. And we're staying in this section because guess what? We're Division 3. We're not going to get much further than that entire section with everyone we have. So to be sure that we get everything right, we're good. And yeah, it's about the same for each. So we're going to scout those. And guess what? Now we have scouting history. We can come in here. We can view these players right here. Clicking on scouting history. Scouting and then history. I have troubles with that sometimes. And then taking a look at our recruits and clicking view all. And what we're going to do here is we're going to see them. And then I like clicking on preferences, but let's be honest, there's really no one here for me to actually do anything with just from future star scouting. It only just discovers who they are. It says, hey, I'm going to discover who you are. That's about all it does. It doesn't give me any preferences. So, well, actually, apparently it did. That's kind of nice. So, right, if we look, we got a few guys here. We got want success near home, very bad on long-term time coach, because guess what? I'm not a long-time coach at this Division 3 school. So am I going to recruit a guy that wants a long-time coach? Unfortunately, not. But this Mark Foster guy, it's kind of exciting, but we're not going to get him. Let's be honest. We're not going to get that guy. So let's actually do this. Distance, let's do near home. And we're going to do within 500 miles, right? Don't care about style right now. Don't care. Actually, we'll see if we can get anybody that's actually within our scope of offense and defense. I'm pretty sure we're not going to do that. But I'm going to click not qualified. I'll tell you why in a minute. I want any guy signing late because this is Division 1. Because guess what? If they sign late or have that preference, then we're going to be in a good position that way. But we're looking good now, so I'm going to take a peek and see what we got. If anybody, let's be honest. Oh, no one. So we're going to take off motion really quick just to kind of see if that changes things. Nope. I want somebody that wants zone because... Let's go back. Okay, here we go. Walter Damron. Ooh, number 10 point guard. And okay, so I like him. The likelihood, though, of him actually coming is going to be like he wants success. We're good. Zone. Okay, yeah, we're going to be good there. He has a late signing preference, but strong conference. Some other school is going to come in and take over. Not going to happen. So we're probably not going to get him. But see these categories here. Blue is high, green is next, like, and you want to order him. I want to order him a red because I want him as a backup option. I want him as a, hey, if he's not getting any attention from another school, I'm going to take him. I'm gonna go on him because he looks like a guy that I want. Specifically because if we look athleticism, speed, he's pretty good there. Defense, good. Perimeter, ball handling, passing, good. Work ethic, way good. I like an A work ethic, and his overall is a B, so that's kind of nice. We're going to get rid of this want success preference and see if we get any else. Nope. Only one guy was zone. We're going to give any distance now and see what we have here. Nope. Apparently nobody, no zone guys, but I'm going to go to wants to play preference here with late, and these guys all pop up. So let's look at this guy really quick. This guy's a C. Let's look at his preferences. Again, he'll play. Won't really. Yeah, I don't match up well with him. But let's look at everybody else here. We got Mark Foster. This guy. Actually, Mark Foster could be a guy that actually I might be interested in because let's see the ineligible. Division III does not require any eligibility, meaning any player can start at any point in time, anywhere. Like, you don't have any issue. There's nothing there that's gonna keep you from doing that. So that's gonna be really, really nice there. That'll help you out. So that's not too bad. And that now I have given that guy as a high preference. So we're gonna go to my recruiting pool. We're gonna do not qualified, and we're just gonna legitimately go any projected level, and we're gonna go within 100 miles and see what I can get within 100 miles. And got on with 100 miles. We got two, count them, fairly decent players here, actually. And, ooh, man, they're looking good for me, too. Andrew Lewis, 4-star guy. We're going to green him up because I'm interested in him, and David Brown, I'm interested in him. They're within 100 miles, giving me a really, really good choice here. Except the exception with David Brown is going to be the following. I have a very bad, but he has zone preference. I don't know why he wasn't showing up before. Maybe he's a Division II player. No, he's not. Neutral, that'll be high. This might be high. That's pretty good. But his end of period 1, that's the problem. So we'll put him down here. Andrew Lewis is going to be a preference. We don't know. And do I want to scout 124? I might scout him. But first things first, we're going to do... This guy's only 5 miles away. Really? He is literally 5 miles away. What? That is awesome. I got another guy 8 miles away, so... this guy's pretty close. We're going to put a green on him, too, since he's close by. I want guys that are close, too. Okay, so speaking of, we did that. Now let's go to camps. And I know this video is getting really long, so I'm sorry. But I'm going to host a camp with Division II and Division I players here. And I'm going to do 150 because I'm not going to get 150 players. But anybody that's interested, we should get. And since it is Division I, Division II, it's going to get a good basis for these players that we're going to get. And it's going to help us find some more players that we might need. And I don't really want New York City because, well, actually, I might not want to schedule my own camp. I might want to do this New York City, best of the Northeast, and down into Pennsylvania. I'm going to register for that, New York City, because New York City Elite, New York City Standard, They don't go until certain times, which isn't too bad. And we'll just do our own at... not going to do our own because I'm worried about doing our own right now. I'm just going to take a peek here, see our top recruits, see if anybody's close to me in here in New York. Because let's be honest, there's a possibility to get players in this top area, but let's be honest, it's difficult. So we're going to take a peek and see what New York we've got here. See what kind of guys we have. None of these guys are really look like they're gonna not looking very good here. Yeah, not looking good at the moment. But we are getting quite a few guys here in the top 100 that we might be able to try to snag in a way. Maybe. We're going to see. So let's take a peek here. We go home. We can see these guys now here, the categories of these players. So that's the basics of what I kind of wanted to get into. I haven't gotten into everything quite yet. But I do like that this guy's interest is already moderate. Really? There's no way. But that is... Oh, this must be a guy that was already done maybe last year. Oh, ho, ho. Carryover. This guy was being recruited last year by the sim. Interesting. His offense is terrible, but his defense, man, I don't know if I don't know if I want that guy. I'm going to put him down a little bit. That was from last year. That's kind of interesting. But there you go a little bit in terms of some possibilities. Foster's looking pretty good here. And so is Dameron. But let's be honest, am I going to get him? More than likely not. It's more of what I see when I start getting recruiting. So I hope that helps. If you have questions, please let me know in the comments of this video or on my blog. And have a great day.